Good afternoon, Keepers of the Cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here. And I haven't done a series review in a while. That wasn't a Savage one, and we're doing one today. It's going to be the Rise of Ultraman. I'm going to put some images over here for you, and you guys can take a look at it. And surprise, surprise, great series. The Rise of Ultraman is a series I picked up on a whim. It was something new that Marvel had acquired the rights to, and I was curious what they would do with it. And then like I do with all series, I got all the issues. I didn't read anything until I had everything. But even when I had everything, it was just in my box, set aside. Ooh, maybe I'll get to it one day. For some reason, it wasn't speaking to me. But there was something about it that was in the back of my mind. And I had the chance to read it today. And I'm happy to say, completely surprised and blown away by how good this series was. I absolutely loved it. I started with issue 1, of course, like you do. And I didn't stop until I finished all 5 issues. It was just absolutely spectacular. But a real good surprise. And we'll get into a light review. I don't want to do spoilers. I want to give you a setup of what this series is and what it may continue to be in the future. And so I'm going to do my best to not spoil anything, and we're going to move forward with it. I'll keep showing you some stuff over here. And for now, let's talk about the 2 major players in it. So we got 2 players that are friends. They've been friends since they were kids. A guy and a girl, not romantic in any way, just best friends. And they've always had each other's back. One of them gets accepted into the USP, which is the United Science Patrol. One of them does not. Doesn't stop their friendship. One of them was upset they didn't make it. The other one is excited they made it. And but their bond is still there. One and the other still care deeply for each other and do anything they can. So we have Kiki Fuji, and she is the cadet at USP, the United Science Patrol. I don't know why. My old brain has trouble remembering that. And then you have her best friend, Shin Hayata. And just a nice, headstrong young lad, and she's a headstrong young lass, and they're great. 2 different personalities, 2 great personalities, and every time they're on the page together, it's a lot of fun. And they're written really well. And you have, kind of as a third player here and there throughout the series, is Captain Muramatsu, who is training Kiki to be something more. He has a lot of belief in her, and you're waiting for him to become the evil trainer. You know, whenever there's an agent training you for something, there's always a double cross or something goes wrong. And thankfully, they don't take that route. It's refreshing. The writing's good. And speaking of the writing, 2 writers I never heard of before, but I'll certainly keep my eye out now. This series is written by Kyle Higgins and Matt Groom. And man, was I impressed with their writing. Nothing in this 5 issues seemed weak. It flowed. There was always a good flow. The characters were fun. The characters are interesting. The dialogue was fantastic. And it just flowed up. I mean, I read those 5 issues so quick, and there was a lot of text in there. They were just really well written. The pacing was fantastic. The story, the unveiling of the story for the Rise of Ultraman, I thought was incredible. I mean, I really was blown away by how good the writing was, in my opinion. So I'm going to definitely keep an eye out for these guys. I know there's another series coming called The Trials of Ultraman. I really hope that they're writing it, because I'll be 100% on board. I've already signed up through the previous catalog for it to be on my pull list at my LCS. Art. Let's talk about the art. The art is by Francesco Manna. And again, this is a team I never heard of before. Francesco Manna blew me away. The art is dynamic. It tells a story. It's not muddied. You always know what's going on. The characters are distinctive. You know who you're looking at all the time. You know what's going on in each panel. It's clear. It's beautiful. And lots of emotions. And I loved it. Great art by Francesco Manna. I'm now a fan. And let's talk the colors. The colors in these issues pop. And that's thanks to someone named Espen. I'm gonna really make this bad, but I'm gonna do my best. Espen Grundetjern. So Espen Grundetjern, fantastic colors. This series was just a feast for the eyes and just straight brain candy. Just so much fun to read. And it wasn't dumbed down. It was smart. It was fun, but it was still a big monster flick. You know, there's kaiju, there's Ultraman, there's Shadow Organization that's been trying to control things, and we're going to get into that right now. And then we'll do my final little breakdown. So the story takes place. It starts in 1966. There's a pilot flying through the air. He's talking to his headquarters, Ultra Q, collides with the Ultraman and presumed dead. But is he? That won't come into play till a little bit later. And then you have, in a backup story in the back of this issue, the formation of USP, where you have Ultra Q, as they're called before they become USP, hunting a kaiju in 1966, and they run across another team hunting kaiju. They're hunting the kaiju in Paris, and they come across Expedition Scientifique Nationale, or National Science Expedition, right? Scientific Expedition. These two conglomerates form together with a bunch of other organizations around the world under one umbrella to be USP. And thus, this organization is formed. It's their job to hunt down and take care of kaiju before there's public knowledge of it. So the public never has to be aware of the danger they're in. Now, how they do that is from that collision in the beginning, they reverse engineer some technology they got from the Ultraman that collided with the pilot. And they have something called a K-ray, which they shoot the kaiju with, and it takes care of them, you think. Now, the basic theme of this is the Ultra people, the Ultra race, the Ultra race comes to Earth as they have other planets, and they come to intervene and save humanity from the kaiju and other races from kaiju that they have deemed are beyond evolved and past their current state. So they don't see a hope for humans to evolve past what they are. So they're worried that humanity, as other races in the galaxy that they've gotten to save, are not capable of saving themselves. So they're coming to step in, and they're kind of like an interstellar kaiju space patrol, right? They're going planet to planet, trying to stop kaiju threats wherever they arise. And it's fun. It's a great setup. The art is fantastic, like I said. So the main theme is Ultras and humans. They're trying to find common ground to work as one. To overcome a threat that's made worse through human meddling, because every time we meddle, we make something worse. It's what we do, right? And it's the basis of every story almost ever written. Now, throughout this story, Kiki Fuji is coming into her own. She's gaining more confidence. She's becoming a good field agent. She's seeing cracks in the armor of the facade of the USP. What she envisioned was one thing, but maybe something more devious than what she thought. Shin Hayata, who didn't make it in, becomes merged with an Ultra being, and I'm not going to tell you how that happens, but it's cool, it's fun, and it's not an instant thing, and there's a lot of setup to it, and the setup's fun, the setup's good. The Ultra and Shin are conversing, they can read each other's thoughts before they merge and become Ultraman, and it's the only way they can save each other, because they're both kind of mortally wounded, and it's fun. It's a good setup, and it ties him, excuse me, and it ties him to Kiki forever, and they're best friends, and these two different species have to learn to work together if they're to save one. What I will tell you is that the K-rays are using to supposedly disintegrate the kaiju. Don't disintegrate the kaiju. They send them to a limbo dimension. So they've been doing that for 40 years, thinking the USP has been thinking that they're solving the problem. but they're not solving the problem. They're creating a bigger problem because that dimension can only hold so many. And it's about to burst. And when it bursts, it's going to be kaiju hell on Earth. And thus you need Ultraman. And the story is so well paced. I wouldn't say it's too fast. I'd say it's just right. Really, really loved it. And I was surprised because I was going into this series lukewarm, expecting not to really care for it and wonder if I was going to get through all 5 issues, to just start and burn through all 5 as quick as I possibly could because it was just that damn enjoyable. It was fantastic. So, really glad I tried something different. I, of course, had heard of Ultraman before, growing up watching King Kong and Godzilla. And, but Ultraman was one that was just always outside my radar. He's on the radar now. I really love this. So, the series, it moves along. The 5 issues are fast. You're going to love them. I think you will. I thought they were fantastic. If you like kaiju, I think you're going to like this. It's setting up for something bigger in the next series. And the setup is fantastic. The reveals at the end of this series is really good. And so let's get to some overall ratings. Because if I keep talking, I'm going to spoil. And I don't want to spoil. I really want you to discover this fun story for yourself. This story is fun. The characters are fantastic, and I really want you to experience it. So the covers, A+. I have not seen a bad cover in this series. They're all great. By a bunch of different artists, and just fantastic. The interior art, A+. Like I said, I was not familiar with Francesco Manno before, but I am now. The art is dynamic. It's swift. It moves. It's clear. It's concise. The panels are brilliant. They set up the story great. The action is fantastic. And the quieter moments where the characters interacting, you don't lose anything there. You know exactly what's going on. You can read their expressions. You can see the care and love they have for each other. Or you can see the apprehension and hate and mistrust they might have for other characters. It's all fantastic. The story I'm going to give an A+. Like I said, I didn't expect to like it, and I absolutely loved it. Interior colors, I mentioned it before. Fantastic. The colors in this are pleasing to the eye. They don't bleed together. Everything is completely visible. It pops. It's all different from each other. When something's supposed to be shadowy and kind of together, it is. When something's supposed to emerge from it, it's clear. It's so good. Everything in it's so good. You always know what's going on. There's nothing muddied about it. And usually that's a problem I have with some art styles and colors, right? They bleed everything together. Sometimes panels are kind of muddy and you really wish you knew what was going on. Like a quick cut action scene where they just do flashes in. You can't really follow it, but they think it's exciting and it's not. This is the opposite. Perfect, perfect, perfect. The conclusion, I'm going to give an A+, because it concluded the first arc while setting up the next arc. So it left you... not with questions, but with expectations, which is what I really appreciated. Because you're ready for the next arc. You're ready to learn more, and it felt natural. It didn't feel forced, and it was just a great ebb and flow to this title. But in conclusion, I'm going to give this 5-issue series A+ is all the way across the board. I really enjoyed it that much. Really good. It was exciting. It was fresh. Every character was great, and every character had the possibility of learning and developing. There was no clear cut. This person's evil because they're evil. Blah ha 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 ha. It wasn't. There was some care in this, and it showed throughout the whole series. So, Ultraman, the Rise of Ultraman, A+ all around. Fantastic 5-issue miniseries. If you read it and you feel the same, let me know. If you read it and you think I'm a crazy loon for thinking that, let me know. Either way, it worked for me, and I'm hoping the next one will as well. And until next time, keep it casual.